One day, you're going to realize something that most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. Nobody is coming. Not the perfect mentor, not the perfect opportunity, not the perfect friend, not the perfect moment. Nobody is coming to save you. Maybe that sounds harsh. Maybe part of you wishes it wasn't true. Because deep down, most of us spend years waiting for someone to notice our potential, someone to believe in us, someone to finally tell us we're good enough, someone to show us the way, someone to make the decision easier, someone to remove the fear. But life doesn't work that way. Nobody is coming with a map. Nobody is coming with answers. Nobody is coming with permission. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner your life stops belonging to chance and starts belonging to you. And strangely enough, that realization might become the most freeing moment of your entire life. Because the moment you stop waiting is the moment you finally begin. Think about how many years people spend waiting to feel confident, waiting to have enough money, waiting to be ready, waiting for life to become easier, waiting for someone to notice them, waiting for someone to believe in them, waiting for someone to give them permission. But life has a cruel way of teaching the same lesson over and over again. The rescue never arrives. The phone doesn't ring. The opportunity doesn't knock. The miracle doesn't happen. And one day you wake up and realize that the years kept moving whether you were ready or not. The truth is that most people aren't stuck because they're lazy. They're stuck because they're waiting. Waiting feels productive. Waiting feels safe. Waiting allows you to believe that your future is still coming. But every day you spend waiting is a day your future is quietly becoming your past. Look around. Nobody gets the life they want by waiting. The people you admire didn't wait until they felt ready. They started before they were ready. They started while they were scared. They started while they were uncertain. They started while everyone else was still thinking about starting. And that's why they're ahead. Not because they were smarter, not because they were more talented, because they moved while everyone else waited. Have you ever noticed something strange? When you're a child, someone is always coming. Your parents solve problems. Teachers give answers. Someone bigger always steps in. But adulthood is different. One of the hardest parts of growing up is realizing that nobody is responsible for your life except you. Not your parents, not your boss, not your friends, not society, you. And most people spend years fighting that reality. They want someone else to fix things, someone else to guide them, someone else to rescue them from consequences they created themselves. But responsibility is the price of freedom. The day you accept responsibility for everything in your life is the day your life starts changing. Because now you have power. As long as it's someone else's fault, you are powerless. As long as you're waiting for someone else, you are powerless. As long as your future depends on another person showing up, you are powerless. And powerlessness is addictive because it removes responsibility. If nobody comes, you have an excuse. If nobody helps, you have an excuse. If nobody believes in you, you have an excuse. But excuses don't build lives. Action does. The truth is that most people aren't waiting for the right moment. They're waiting for certainty. They want guarantees. They want proof. They want to know everything will work out before they take the first step. But life doesn't work like that. No successful person was given certainty. No successful person knew exactly how things would turn out. They acted without guarantees. And that's what made them different. Most people think confidence creates action, but reality works in reverse. Action creates confidence. Nobody becomes confident before speaking in public. Nobody becomes confident before starting a business. Nobody becomes confident before changing their life. Confidence is earned. It is built through action, one uncomfortable step at a time. Every time you move despite fear, you teach yourself something. You teach yourself that fear is not in control. You teach yourself that waiting is not necessary. You teach yourself that progress is possible. And that lesson becomes powerful because eventually you stop asking, what if I fail? And you start asking, what happens if I never begin? That question changes everything because failure wastes a moment. But waiting can waste an entire life. Imagine two people. Both want a better future. Both have dreams. Both have potential. The first person spends years waiting for motivation, waiting for certainty, waiting for confidence, waiting for the perfect opportunity. The second person starts immediately, not because they're ready, because they understand something the first person doesn't. Confidence comes after action, not before it. Nobody becomes confident by thinking. Nobody becomes brave by waiting. Nobody becomes successful by preparing forever. You become confident by doing. You become brave by acting. You become successful by moving. That's how it works. At some point, they stopped waiting. They stopped negotiating with fear. They stopped asking for permission. They stopped expecting rescue. And they moved. Years later, the difference becomes enormous. One person has stories, experience, skills, growth, lessons, scars, wisdom. The other person has plans, ideas, intention, and regret. The painful truth is that the world rewards movement, not potential, not intentions, not promises. Movement. Nobody gets paid for what they almost did. Nobody gets rewarded for what they plan to do. Nobody builds a meaningful life by collecting ideas. Life rewards execution. Here's another truth most people don't want to hear. Nobody's thinking about your future as much as you are. Everyone is busy trying to survive their own life. That's not cruel. That's reality. Which means if your dreams are going to happen, you have to care more than anyone else. You have to carry it. Because nobody can carry your future for you. Think about how many people spend years saying, one day I'll start the business. One day I'll write the book. One day I'll get in shape. One day I'll change my life. But one day is a dangerous phrase. Because one day often becomes never. One day becomes next year. Next year becomes 5 years. 5 years becomes 20. And suddenly life is almost over. The saddest part isn't failure. The saddest part is unrealized potential. It's meeting the older version of yourself and realizing you could have become so much more, not because you lacked talent, not because you lacked intelligence, because you kept waiting. Nobody is coming to save your health. Nobody is coming to save your finances. Nobody is coming to save your discipline. Nobody is coming to save your future. And that's actually good news, because if nobody is coming, then the responsibility is yours. And if the responsibility is yours, then the power is yours too. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need guarantees. You need movement. One step, one decision, one action. That's how every transformation begins. Not with certainty, with action. The people who succeed aren't special. They simply stopped waiting sooner. While everyone else was waiting for a sign, they became the sign. While everyone else waited for motivation, they built discipline. While everyone else waited for rescue, they started saving themselves. Time rewards action. Time punishes waiting, which is why today matters. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, because the future is built by what you do now, not by what you plan to do later. So, let me ask you something. What are you waiting for? What dream have you been postponing? What conversation have you been avoiding? What project have you been delaying? Whatever it is, stop waiting. The perfect moment isn't coming. The perfect opportunity isn't coming. The perfect version of you isn't coming. Nobody is coming. And that's your freedom. Not because the world is cruel. Not because nobody cares. But because this life was never meant to be carried by someone else. It was always yours. Your dream. Your responsibility. Your future. Your decision. One day you'll look in the mirror and realize something that changes everything. The person you've been waiting for. The person who was supposed to save you. The person who was supposed to change your life has been standing in front of you the entire time. You. It was always you. If this message hit home, leave a comment below. Nobody is coming. And if you enjoy these lessons on discipline, confidence, self-respect, and human nature, hit the like button and subscribe. Because the life you want is not waiting for a hero. It's waiting for you. And the moment you stop waiting is the moment everything begins.